Krysta. What a great privilege to have this conversation with you. You have been doing amazing work supporting other women, and I can't wait to know what led you to this career path. After 25 years of experience within the healthcare industry itself, you decided to start your own business. What is the story behind that switch?
Well, it's been a long journey, as you mentioned, 25 years. And throughout that journey and all the roles that I've had, coaching, mentoring, change facilitation, development, those were the highlights of all the roles that I've held. I just kind of love that type of work. And actually, as a part of my 2020 New Year's resolution, I was going to branch out, leave my health system, and go out on my own as a independent consultant. And then COVID happens. So, I had the lens of going in with the business. Hey, I can help with performance. I've done this type of work that I can help other organizations even outside of the industry. And then I got to see my healthcare peers, being, attacked amongst the COVID storm that was happening, watching my family, my children, just all of the interactions. And I've always been a wellness buff, but just being a part of the storm and in the midst of the storm as a healthcare worker, I had a greater appreciation for the need to heal the whole person. And especially in seeing, my peers before, during, and after, the major hike of the pandemic, I definitely recognize there's a huge need out there for people to have, safe environments where they can truly be vulnerable, let their hair down. Let's talk about, what you've just been through. Where do you want to go? And being able to help them make the alignments needed so that they can live the type of life that they wanted to live. So
Right.
That's where Healing Purpose was pretty much born. I am playing on the name of Healing Purpose, and providing the tools and helping, healthcare workers specifically, but women in all industries need this sort of assistance, and just really helping, women to be able to reclaim their own power. Recognizing where barriers may occur from an emotional and mental perspective that are impacting their performance or how they show up in life, and helping them make the right changes to be able to transform into the woman that they aspire to be. So it's very exciting work. Very exciting work.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So now let's go a little bit backward. So I know you have 25 years of experience when it comes to the healthcare industry, but why did you get into the healthcare industry in the first place?
Oh gosh, I'm picturing myself as a child in show and tell. I've always wanted to be a doctor. I love to care for others. Actually, I wanted to be a pediatrician, a photographer, and a model. Just kind of all in one. Just kind of always been a jack of all trades, but the caring, compassionate piece is just a part of my nature. I got into healthcare because, one, I love the people aspect, and I wanted to be as close to the work. Doctor is like, eventually as I went on in my career, I was like, well, maybe not a doctor, but I noticed that there were a lot of support areas around the physicians, and it's like, I want to be a part of them, and also kind of notice what makes them tick and how can I help them so that they can help the doctors, do their best work and to heal. So the whole system was really intriguing to me. And as I grew in my healthcare career, I had a greater appreciation for just the nuance and just the intricate design of it. It was like you can essentially operate in every single industry within the healthcare umbrella. And I just thought that was really, really nice. For someone that's interested in growth and development, it's a fantastic industry to be in, and you get to see the end result of people being healed and being fulfilled and connected and within their community. So it's a great end-to-end kind of experience as being in that field.
I never really looked at it this way. When you say it's like it's a lot of people that play a big role into this. And some of them we don't really know they exist, but they are like the backbones of everything.
Yes, behind the scenes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very intricate system. I mean, you've got supply chain, you've got engineering, you've got environmental. There's everything all up under that same umbrella of providing the care at the bedside for patients. So
Exactly.
It's pretty cool. I'm a little
Yeah,
nerd. I
it is.
nerd out on that.
So, what are the programs Healing Purpose offers?
Absolutely. So we pride ourselves in providing a holistic approach. So yes, I can definitely help you from the goal setting perspective, tracking your progress and helping you to, once you've done some clearing to be able to reach the goals that you would like to take. Prior to that, we're going to do a little release work. We're going to dive into your emotional history, your mental history, and dive into some of the negative emotions that you may have developed that you hadn't even noticed, but they're impacting your performance today. So we call this integrative psychology. So we're diving into, just your self-talk. That's a great indicator of how your mindset operates and how your mind kind of translates those external triggers into the internal pieces that go into develop your beliefs and values about certain things, and thus your behaviors of how you actually show up when you're ready to do your work, for instance. So we
Wow.
offer a 6 month or a 12-month transformative program that will take you through. Again, you'll get your breakthrough session, as we call them, in the initial stages. And you'll also have that one-on-one interaction with me where we'll coach you through your goals. Because of the level of depth that we go for the 6 month, we'll cover one life area because we really want to clean out all the gunk and get you all ready and empowered to be your best person. And then on the 12-month, we are able to cover 2 life areas there. And your life area could be spirituality. If you want to improve your physical health, if you want to improve your career or your professional standing. So we can explore one of those and kind of some of the actions and goals that you have in mind for them. So.
Do you meet people that needs more than 6 or 12 months to actually get through things that they've been through in life?
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds crazy and it's been very interesting along my journey. I can go through my breakthrough session and I have folks that say, hey, I've paid, X number of tens of thousands of dollars for therapy. And in just these 4 hours with you, I've received some sort of relief. So it's very impactful. Evidence proven tools and tips that I've been trained on, in addition to my experience as a leader, as a mentor in healthcare and in other areas. I'm also a second degree Reiki practitioner as well. So there's energy work and spirituality work. So we kind of come at an issue or your general problem from all the different angles and we really tackle it. So it just depends on the person. It depends on how open they are to, trying this new and different type of technique. As far as how quickly they receive the results. But one thing that is common is that everyone that goes through it receives some really amazing transformative results. And it's really cool. And I'm very grateful to be a part of that experience with them.
Exactly. And with everything that just happened in the past few years, well, COVID hit. Do you think people feel more stuck and disconnected with themselves, especially
You
women?
know, Yes, absolutely. I've done some recent surveys just to kind of test the pulse of what's happening out there among women, specifically healthcare. And we found that, most do appreciate their job. They do acknowledge that there is some sort of alignment with their purpose, with their job, but they're just burnt out. I mean, they've got physical, ailments that they've developed from just the amount of work that they've done, 70, 80 hour,
That's a
work
lot.
weeks. We as women, wear many masks and many roles at very many, various points of our life. We're mothers, we're leaders, we're counselors, we're just all of those sorts of things. So imagine, that wait times 10 or 12 or how many different masks or roles that you're wearing at that time. And we're very resilient in that case, to where often it takes the moment where we're finally able to sit and pause to where we start to feel things. So we don't feel things in the moment, and it's not healthy. It's great because we're able
Mm-hmm.
to get things done and we're able to be productive and feel productive, but it's not healthy, and it can lead to, physical disease, within our body if we continue on that path. And I've noticed, just in folks that have reached out to me, they feel stuck, they're not at the bare bottom, of the space, but they recognize that there's a disconnect and there's a need to get better aligned with what they would like to experience in their lives, professionally and within their personal relationships, and all around. So.
And I will think that when they realize that there's a problem that needs to be fixed, that will make your job a lot easier, because I know there's people that the problem is there, but they refuse to accept the problem is there. They just keep on going on. So that's where more problem will come along, right?
It never goes away. It never goes away. And most time what happens is that we suppress those negative emotions, we suppress those problems, and they tend to show up in very inconvenient times. And we have those outbursts and we have those nervous breakdowns, and we're not able to see the connections. We're just like, hey, I don't know what was going on. I was okay this morning. Then all of a sudden, but it continues to build. It continues to build. And a lot of the people that I work with, we have a lot to dig up from up under. A lot of the issues and challenges that we experience today stem from our childhood and just our relationship with our parents, our siblings, our teachers, and different things that have happened. And we really take the time to pause. Let's explore it. Let's bring it up. Let's feel it. There's value in feeling the emotion and processing the emotions and the root causes of those things, and let's resolve it. And it's amazing, again, how instantaneously just taking that small act can be so powerful, and you can feel the relief, from that one exercise, to where you can now face face the challenges that you experience in a different way.
Do you meet people a lot that's like the problem they are facing is coming from the childhood instead of the adulthood?
Absolutely. I would say for the clients that I've worked with, a good 85% of them stem from childhood.
Wow.
Ironically, like between the ages of like 3 and 9, there was something, whether it was a innocent conversation or comment that was made. You just think about for a career, for instance. I have memories of, riding in the back seat of the car, and we're on our way back from preschool, and you see McDonald's, and that's, heaven for every child at that space. And asking mom, hey, can we go to McDonald's? No, we don't have McDonald's money. And just that one simple statement planted within me the concept of lack, in regards to finances. And how does that play into my career right now? Wow. And when I go for promotions, and it's very very interesting. We are systems thinkers. We are system designed, and just amazing how all of these activities are connected. And you would never think about it until you sit and pause, and it's like, let's think about the root cause. And when was the first time that you ever had a challenge around money? And most of the time it is from childhood. So that's just one example, one life area around career that I take my clients through and really explore it. And once we do light up those emotions, we work through an exercise to actually release those emotions, and let's replace them with more positive messages and images around that, so that I today, as the professional, in healthcare or otherwise, have a different point of view, and I'm more aligned with abundance. There's more than enough to go around. So when I go for my interview, I'm not in the spirit of lack, but I'm in the spirit of abundance and prosperity. So,
oh my goodness. Can you imagine that? Like, yes, it is. It's like all these things we've been through in our childhood, we don't even remember them sometimes, but we carry them with us anyway, somehow. Interesting.
And just think about that, of all the characteristics or so that may be carried through generations, we're carrying things from prior generations as well.
That's true.
And that's a heavy load. We have enough to handle. So you can definitely reach out, and let's clear some of this stuff out, and let's start some new things. Let's break some of these generational chains. I won't say curses, but chains. And let's start embedding and implanting some new behaviors and values and beliefs, so that they can help our children and grandchildren and those generations to come.
Exactly. Because right now, our generation, what happened, 100 years ago, we don't have the same thing anymore. Like, we didn't have the technology we have today.
No.
A lot of things change in this world. So when we carry this, everything has to be the same way it was 100, even 20 years ago, it's a problem because
Totally different.
let's look at our phone. I remember when my mom has that huge phone, like a big cell phone. It was like the
Yes.
biggest thing. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is heavy. How do you carry this around? And now let's look at our phone. It's like tiny.
Yes.
And even if we have a big phone, but it's like cool.
Yes.
So it's amazing. So do you find more women with internal baggages than men?
Yes, I have. Now, it could be biased by the selection and the sample of folks that reach out to me, but yes, women carry more internal baggage amongst my clients. And what I found is that it's primarily due to suppression. We suppress emotions. We do what we have to do. We roll up our sleeves. We push that aside. And when do we ever have time? If you're wearing 10 or, 12 different hats in your day, when do you have time to actually process that? And what value does it feel like in the moment to even deal with that? It's like, no, that's great. That's fine. I understand they operate this way. I've got to get this done. So I've got to push this aside. And it just builds up. It builds up. So men of my male clients that I've noticed, they're more, I would say, vocal, more assertive. I think there's a lot to do within our society of, them feeling more confident and it being more of a welcoming thing for them to speak up in certain forums, to where for women, we may not feel comfortable in doing that, or just the social norms is that we can't because we're perceived as aggressive, or we second think our place at the table at many times. So again, suppression. So there's a lot that we carry within us, professionally, and just think about personally. Again, social norm for the husband to be the head of the family. So we are, of service to our husband and our children. And there may be thoughts or feelings that we have about certain things that we may not express because of the roles within our family. So again, suppression. we carry a lot on our shoulders and in our hearts just by the pure makeup of a woman that I think this type of work would be very freeing for every woman out there. I'm very grateful. I've, just recently over the last couple of years, been able to pick up some additional tools or so to enhance my mentoring and coaching frameworks that I've had. And in servicing others, I also am blessed, seeing their transformations and in helping me to continue to grow and develop as a woman as well. So it's mutually rewarding for me.
It is, because you get to see, like, when the person comes to you for the first time, and then now you see where they are right now. It's like, wow, I did this.
Before and afters. I mean, the hair is standing up on my arm. It's truly amazing. And just to know, it's not just that one woman that you're impacting her whole family, because when she shows up in a different light, that light shines to her entire family, and then they'll carry that on as well. So that's a truly exciting part about transformation.
Exactly. A happy woman make a happy family. That's just the way it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you also help with burnout?
Absolutely. So I've got tools that can help with anxiety, just simple guided meditations, and some of the tools. I've got some tools that aren't available other places, but even YouTube videos around meditations, taking 10 minutes just to sit and pause, practice breathing. Those are very, very simple yet very powerful tools to help you when it comes to burnout. From a physical aspect. And then from the, I guess, technical aspect and more physical pieces outside of yourself, and just looking at prioritization of the things that you have coming at you, setting up boundaries. Women and the clients that I experience, even I have experienced, and I'm continuing to grow, and setting up boundaries. And it's okay to say no to certain things. And even though you can stretch, should you? And here's the reasons why you should or shouldn't in certain situations. That's very powerful work to even think about boundaries in your life.
Wow. Meditation, huh? I remember the first time someone told me you need to do meditation. I'm like, okay, meditation, let's do it.
Yeah, you
I
picture.
couldn't focus. I nearly couldn't. I think I stayed there for like an hour. I'm like, this is not working out for me.
Some do have challenges just in quieting their mind. I'm one from a visual perspective, and getting all of the images out of my mind, it takes a long time, a good 30
Mission
minutes.
Impossible.
I'm able to, yeah. But also think of, meditation is quiet time of focus. Meditation may look like prayer for someone. It may look like, hey, just 10 minutes of breathing. I still got the thoughts in my mind, but I'm centering myself. I'm centering my energy. So meditation can look differently for different people. What I do is called sound bathing a lot of times, where, we may listen to water drops or so and just sitting quietly. And you're amazed by, even if you do have thoughts that come through your mind, the great thoughts that come through. It's like, wow, I've been struggling with that problem. And then just the answer was just there. Or either like guided meditations, just walking through this awareness of different body parts and how they feel. And you're just that simple focus helps to quiet your mind, quiet your body, quiet your spirit, and help you to focus on where you may be experiencing physical ailments as well. And feeling the energy, from the wind, just the environment that you experience is very powerful to help you with kind of centering the mind, which helps with burnout and kind of that balance. But I would say for meditation, you can do it for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is very powerful. I do that as well. When you have your days when you're booked back to back in meetings and you got to go pick up the kids and you need to run by the store, even just sitting in your car, if you have your air conditioning as hot as it is, but sitting in your car for 5 minutes, turning the radio off and just sit, eyes closed, listen to everything around you, just feel the air. Gratitude. I practice gratitude a lot and just say, okay, set my phone timer for 5 minutes and let me verbalize all the things that I'm grateful for in this one moment. That's a practice of meditation as well.
I love it. And for me, it took me a while to realize that the only way I can focus was underwater. So when I need to meditate, I will go in the shower. I turn the water. So the water is flowing to my head and I'll just sit there. My husband will walk into that room, to that bathroom. I wouldn't even know he's there. He's like, how do you stay under the water? So that's become, for me, the way I can meditate. And I like the fact that when you said that, be grateful for what you have. And I think that's something also I try to teach my son every day, is to be grateful for what you have, not what you don't have. What you don't have is forget about it. What you have right now is important, and what you have can take you where you want to be. So be grateful for it. So I love when you say that. It's something that I think a lot of us should practice, and also should teach that to our kids, so that we can have less of our kids in the system and then more in being leaders and helping this country move forward.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned that as well. So my youngest are 4 and 6, and they learn a lot from watching me. So they'll notice that I'm sitting quietly, and occasionally they'll sneak in the room and they'll come sit next to me. And so they learn through seeing us. So the same way that my youngest learned by seeing me meditate, is the same way that they're learning when we don't have time because we've got all the meetings and things going, or when we do the best that we can. I believe that everyone does. But when you're throwing together a quick meal because you've got to run off, they're sitting and they're learning all of these behaviors. And again, they're going to shape their values and beliefs around different things that they carry forward into their adulthood as well. So, this has definitely taught me to be more deliberate and mindful of my activities. You don't know who, from children or coworkers or, folks at church or so, that are watching you, and the things that they can learn from that are positive and negative from the ways that you show up. So I always say I choose to be the light as best I can. We all have bad days, but gratitude helps. And it's like, I choose to try to be the light, and It's been very impactful in my life and in the life of others that I've noticed as well.
Exactly. And you're completely right when you say with your son, like, for example, today, as soon as we start putting the lights out, my son, okay, you have an interview. I said, yes. I said, and he's like, with who? I'm like, Krysta. I said, Krysta. Oh, the name sounds interesting. What's the company name? And I said, Healing Purpose. Healing Purpose? So is that when she's healing people? And I'm like, I'm about to find out. She said, and he replied back to me, he's like, I can't wait to listen to it, mommy. Go rock it. It's these things that even when I hear women saying that I can't grow my business, I can't start a business, or I can't do this because of my kids, and a lot of time I'm like, yes, you can. Just have your kids a part of what you are doing. I'm not saying make them work, but I'm saying like talk to them about it. And they will respect you for that, and they will love you for what you are doing. And they'll be proud of you to go out there and talk to other people about it. Like when I take my son to the park and he's playing with other kids, and the kids will be like, what your mom do for a living? My mom on her own business. And she interviewed a lot of people. Actually, he did one YouTube video, and in that YouTube video, he was about 4 years old, and he said that my mom loved magazine. It was the funniest thing at the end. I'm like, well, I love magazine, but I only make one. So
Wow.
I guess you are right. We need to get our kids because we are the role model, you know, they are looking after us.
Yes.
But one thing that I have for you is Healing Purpose. The name speaks for itself, but do you have a meaning behind choosing that name?
Well, initially the name was developed because I wanted to be a healthcare consultant. So healing was my purpose, being there to help within the healthcare sense. As I mentioned, that changed with COVID and the COVID storm
Mm-hmm.
that came to where, I felt it more internal as far as my soul's calling. And, as many people did, I also took a pause, when COVID happened. And the silver lining of this whole experience and the whole pandemic is that we saw worldwide compassion and caring for people. It's like, how beautiful was that? As well as an opportunity, a safe space to be able to explore what's important to you. We had many people, where they lost loved ones throughout that experience, and it brought it home. And for me, while I didn't lose anyone very close to me, I worked with very many people that experienced this. They were the caregivers in that space, and exploring what was important to me and what I loved about my roles as a mother and a leader and all the other roles that I have was I wanted to be able to help people in a way that was very meaningful and that could have lifelong impacts. And in my interactions, people were saying that, your coaching and mentoring very, impactful for my life. You're one of the best leaders that
Oh.
I've ever experienced. And I'm very grateful for that. So it's like, let me take it in this realm. And I've picked up some tools along the way, and I'm certified in hypnotherapy as well to help as a supplement for some of this, just to really help us to get out of our own way. And Healing Purpose just really is an all-encompassing, all holistic type of approach. And it's really true to what I feel my mission on this earth is for this lifetime and many generations to come, to have that impact, to help people where it really matters so that they can go out and be the best person that they can be and be the best woman and leader and mom and grandma that they are, and really show up in their best light. So it's really I've had other business coaches who's like, oh, it's too fuzzy, it's too soft, you should change it. But I was like, it's at my core. It's
No.
at my core. So yes,
Follow your heart. You know, don't follow what others say. Follow
absolutely.
your heart.
Absolutely.
So you started your business in the middle of the pandemic. So did you face any challenges?
Oh, absolutely. Finding clients. Finding clients. So I started this business formally, while I was working for a health system in my area. And at time of COVID, it was all hands on deck, so I was too, though not a nurse or, direct patient care provider, there helping to assist them. In my role, I was in charge of process and quality improvement, and I had a team. So I had a team that I had to make sure, as their leader, I wanted to make sure they were okay and their families were okay and they had resources that they needed, as well as my working role in helping to make sure that we were able to still meet the goals that the community needed for us at that time. And all demands were growing. So I did my business on the side and also as a part of my role throughout the pandemic, and really took the leap. So I am a great resignator as well. I took the leap a couple of months ago and left my very secure healthcare role and really branched out there on my own. And I tell you, it's a different level of freedom. I just feel like I'm in constant ascension along my own personal journey and starting this business, and the ways that I'm able to help people in an expanded role and expanded capacity by this being my primary focus. So it's been a very exciting time.
It is. I guess the hard part, usually that's what's the most excited. If everything was easy, then life would be just boring, you know?
There you go. There you go.
So what will be your advice to women that is feel unfulfilled and stuck, disconnected? What would you be the advice for them to get reconnected with the life and then, build something for themselves?
First of all, just acknowledgement, and let me hold space for you that it's okay to not be okay. For many women, it's, just the fact of being able to say it. I know I'm feeling emotionally impacted just by saying that. We don't have to be perfect all the time. We have needs that need to be met. We deserve love and compassion just like that we share with others. So just stand and hold space for yourself is number one. And that's very important. You can't fill other people's cups if your cup is empty. So just acknowledging that. And if you feel stuck, reach out for help, start in your circle, examine your circle, whether it's a leader or so, or a peer in your area that you work with. If you have something from a career perspective or person for spirituality or kind of personal growth, your religious leaders or folks at the church or wherever you worship or so might be another avenue that you can reach out to get additional resources. I'm here as a part of Healing Purpose. It is my mission to provide that safe space where you can truly let your hair down and be vulnerable and acknowledge that you don't have to hold up the world, 24/7 in that space, and that you deserve some self-love and self-care. And I'm here to help guide and facilitate your growth and development in that space as well. So there's lots of resources for women. What I've found personally and with those that I've helped, the first step is just acknowledging that you need help and feeling safe to be able to state that I need help and I'm not okay.
And you know what? Us as women, that is the hardest thing to say. I need help, because we always think we can do it all alone. We got this.
And we're usually very fabulous at doing it. And that's the thing. We make life look very easy. And some places for others. Yes. We got to do the same for ourselves. Raise that same level of the bar of love and value for ourselves. And it can be done.
Exactly. It can be done. And then if you can't, it's okay to reach out. Hey, can you help me out? Can you guide me on how I can take all of these things off my shoulder so I can live a happy life too? Because when we are happy, everyone else around us is happy. Our children are happy. Everyone else is, But I guess that's something we need to learn, and it's going to take us a while because it's been like that for generations. How do we break this?
Exactly.
Well, that's where you come in, Krysta.
We set the example. We live as the example, and we stand up for our sisters, and we hold space. I mean, we know we're very intuitive by nature, and you can be in a grocery store and recognize that there's a woman there that's overwhelmed, and just telling her, hey, you know what? You're rocking that purse. You're doing good. Or can I help you with something? Just holding space in a very simple way is very impactful and powerful. And we can do it for each other's. Live the example, and people will pay it forward. And sooner or later, we'll cover the world and we'll empower the world of women. So we'll get there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get there. I think we will. Especially when we have women like yourself that is all is seeing the problem exists and we need to fix it. And the more you pass on your message, the more women will realize that, okay, I need help. Absolutely. And we need to fix that. And keep doing what you are doing, so don't stop doing it. So now that you're building something great for women and you're helping them find that life balance and to be able to move forward, what's next for you and the business?
There are lots of things in play. So in addition to the transformation programs, I just launched as of the beginning of this month, my R for Lux retreats. So my second passion that, if I could do anything in the world that I thought of at the time of COVID, besides helping people, was travel. So I've got a very strong passion and desire to travel the world. And I want to take women with me to go and experience nature and be immersed in other cultures and really detox from their everyday in the same process. So there'll be a series of retreats. I've got a few in planning. They will be in the Texas area, but there will be other retreats around the world. I'm looking at the Caribbean, as well as some over in Southeast Asia as well. Hopefully by the end of next year, we'll get those booked and ready. But there'll be other spaces where you can come and fellowship with other sisters that are also as passionate as with their personal growth and development that you are. There will be some seminar within the retreat, but most of it is for relaxation, renewal, rejuvenation, and just celebration of all that women are. So I'm very excited to launch the retreat offering up under a healing purpose.
I love that. We need to celebrate ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. Every day, find a moment.
Yes, we should. We should. And I think sometimes we forgot to do that. We celebrate everything else but ourselves.
Yes.
So now, what is your message to young entrepreneurs that just struggle to start out?
I would want to explore what the struggle is. And I would want them to think through what is the core limiting belief. And sometimes it may be that you don't feel like you're worth it, or you don't feel like you deserve it. One of those core beliefs that are at the root of the reason of why you're not going to do it, or why you're procrastinating or delaying in the launch of it. And for those that are like right on the edge, you're trying to figure out, should I teeter totter? And, you've got your very secure job, but you've got this strong passion on the other side. I would strongly encourage the woman to just go for it. Take the leap. I promise you, if you're doing something that is aligned with your heart, your soul, and you love to do it. I have a sign behind me, do what you love what you do. You will not be sorry. You will not be sorry. And the security and everything will come with your alignment.
Absolutely. I don't even want to add anything to it. It's perfectly said. Anything else you'd like to share with us before I let you go today?
Oh, gosh. I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I'm very grateful to be able to interview with you all and to share the message and get the word out that women, you have advocates out there. It's safe to be able to raise your hand and ask for help. And if it fits, I would love to be able to work with you as a part of Healing Purpose, either through the retreats or the coaching offerings as well. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity to learn about you, also to learn about Healing Purpose, because just knowing that other woman is there, exist to help out, it's play a big role in my life every day. I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that when I started my first business, I struggled a lot because I always thought that I was alone. And starting WomLEAD, it's a huge difference because I get to learn that I am not alone.
Yeah, lots of sisters out there. Absolutely.
Yes.
And the more that we're aware and we work together, the stronger our community is and the wider our impact will be as well.
Absolutely. We are stronger together, and I hope that we can pass that message to more women. We don't need to hate, we don't need to compete, we don't need to do anything like that. We just have to support one another because there's enough in this world for all of us.
And that's out of the spirit of abundance and not lack. So absolutely.